Okay, so it looks like today is going to be all about tarot for me. I've already filmed 2 videos reviewing some new tarot decks that I got, and I thought I might just kind of show all of the decks that I have so far right now and kind of tell you my thoughts on them, just kind of like a broad overview. And again, this is from someone who is a very, very much beginner and don't know much of anything about them. So my opinions on all of this may change as I get more into it. If I do, I have a tendency to like jump hobbies. So if I do stick to this, my opinions may change on it. But I just, honestly, I don't really have anything planned out. So I don't really know exactly what I'm going to talk about. But I do want to show you all my decks and kind of talk a little bit about how I feel about them. So I guess I will just start with what was my first deck. Okay, also, so I guess this is going to be more for like a beginner's thing because I think I want to highlight some of the things that I was kind of confused about when I was like looking into decks and things like that. So I first came across it was there was this girl that I followed on Instagram, and she posted something in her stories one day of her pulling like tarot cards. And honestly, prior to that, I had kind of thought tarot was like not really an accessible thing for normal people, I guess. I thought the type of people that did tarot were like those type of people you would go to like a fortune teller place and, or I didn't think normal people like did tarot in their homes, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. And so that kind of first let me know like, okay, so this girl that I know that seems normal and a lot like me, she's trying this. And so I had just kind of like noticed that, and then I can't remember if that led me to look for it or if I happened to come across like a YouTube video. But in any case, I ended up coming across a YouTube video of this girl talking about tarot and kind of beginner's tarot or whatever. And she was using this deck called the Fountain. Sorry, not sure what happened. My camera just like suddenly shut off. Also, disregard my hair. I'm in the midst of making another video on that. But so this was the first one I really saw, and she was a novice user too. She was, I think her video was kind of somewhat like this, but she was just showing this deck. And I think this is kind of like an not advanced deck, but compared to some of the other decks, like this has a few like features, I guess, that are kind of notable. So when I was looking at decks, I was going through Amazon and I was reading through the reviews and I was trying to get a feel for like what am I looking for in terms of a good deck. And I noticed some people talk about the box, the ribbon, the cardstock, just several things that I didn't really know what it meant. But now that I have a few decks, I have a better idea of what that means. So one thing I do like this box in terms of like usability. So the way the box is set up is it has kind of like a magnetic latch on the side. So it's really easy to open the box. And I will show you a comparison is a couple of the boxes, it looks like you've got that. This one, the box pulls up like this, and then you've got the top separately. So, there's that. But I kind of like this is just kind of, you got it all together, you flip the top open, and there's your cards. And then they'll all come, like most of them come with like a saying either, on the side or, on the top there. And then, and I think really it's hard to get a feel for tarot, like what deck you're gonna like based on like reviews. It's more kind of like you can get a little bit of an idea, but you get more of an idea when you're sitting here reading it. So one thing I've noticed, just sometimes different decks, whenever I open them, this saying will I'll feel more connected to it, like what it says. So they all say something a little bit different. And there's one that I'm definitely connected to. Like every time I open the box and I read that saying, I'm like, yes, I like the feeling that I get from it. I don't know how to explain it, but this says you are the voice and the breath of the universe. And also another thing I notice, a lot of tarot readers have a lot of decks, and so I also feel like some days I feel like I want to use this deck or I want to use that deck. So I think in general, if you get into tarot, you'll probably end up having several decks that will kind of go along with your mood and what you're feeling. So I'll just put that aside. But so it comes with a book. They all will come with a guidebook. And this one doesn't have pictures of the cards in it. I've noticed some of my other ones do, but you know, they've got the explanation, they've got the forward, I don't know if you call it forward, the upright and the reversal. So if you turn a card and it's upside down, you've got the reversal, kind of like a summary of what, kind of like a Cliff's Notes of what the card means. And then it's got kind of like a longer description. And then you can also get more out of looking at the picture on the card. So the girl that I'd watched the video of, she was using this deck, and I thought it was really pretty. And that was really the first thing I was going for with the deck. Like, I thought the deck that I liked would be the one that I liked how it looked aesthetically, because I didn't know anything else about decks, and so that was what I was going with. I liked that this case was kind of holographic. I don't know if you can tell from this, it's holographic. I like that. You know, I'm into like more minimalist stuff, more neutral colors. At least I thought I was. And so this is, you know, a little bit that, but then the top of the card is a little bit more colorful, but it kind of reminded me of like diamonds or crystals or things like that, and I liked that. But then like I thought the cards were like kind of pretty. So this is like the Justice card, and it's your standard you know, like deck. It's got all the suits, and then it's got the major arcana or whatever. But I will say there's that. So that's just kind of like an example of some of the cards. And you know, they're based, it looks like most tarot are based off of the I think you call it the weight deck, and I'll show you that here in a second. But I will say this isn't okay for like a starter, I think. The pictures do kind of somewhat give you a feel for what the meaning of the card is. And so I will say I'm not disappointed that I started out with this deck, but after watching some videos of people doing tarot and getting a feel for different decks myself, if I had to do it over again, I don't think I would pick this deck as my first deck. But one thing, another positive, it's got a ribbon that sits in here. And so when you put the cards in the box, that ribbon comes down. So whenever you get ready to take them out, you've got the ribbon here, and it just lifts up the whole deck. So if people are talking about ribbons or whatever, that's what they're talking about. And so this was my first deck. And I was kind of confused when I was looking on Amazon, because I didn't really understand, like, because I would type in tarot deck, but then some of these other types of decks would pop up called Oracle decks or Oracle cards. And I kind of like, there seemed to be, at least on Amazon, a bigger selection of different types of Oracle decks. And I liked like how they looked and things like that. Like I got like there were a lot more just designs and things like that to choose from. And so I think with my first order, I think I got the Fountain Tarot, and then I ordered 2 Oracle decks that I thought I liked. And so I'm going to be honest, I haven't felt as much of a, like maybe someone new would like the Oracle cards. But I can say I haven't really felt super connected with the Oracle cards, I guess. Or maybe I just don't know how to use them right. But this one, I just thought they were really pretty. They were pastel colors. It's called the Starseed Oracle. You can see kind of like, it looks kind of cosmic. You know, I like cosmic things. I've always thought space was pretty cool. But yeah, like, and they looked just like really soft and really pretty, and it has this big guidebook in. So the tarot is, you know, like for your tarot reading, it's very specific. It's got like generally like the same type of cards, you know, like they're going to have like different looks or whatever, but generally you've got like your same cards in your tarot deck. And then the oracle cards, I'm not going to do a good job of explaining this, but they just seem to have like just sayings on the cards or things. I don't really know exactly what oracle cards are, to be honest. Maybe I should do more research. But basically, you know, they've all got the same backing, and then on the other side it will have like a saying. So this one just says, you've got the love, Hadarian energy, codependency, and boundaries. You can see they're like really pretty, like spacey or whatever. And this one, surrender to sweetness, Venusian energy, pleasure, joy, make love. So that's just kind of like earth school, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. And I'm just gonna be honest, like, oh, what is this? That one's got, do they all have triangles? They do. Okay, never mind. I was watching another tarot reader the other day, and she would put a card down and she would be like, oh, this is an air, or this is a, you know, earth card or something like that. But it looks like those all have triangles, so that probably doesn't mean anything. But then like you can pick your card. We'll say, what's this? This one's, yeah, see, it's got like an astronaut. Is that an astronaut? Oh no, that's like Egyptians. But anyway, I like Egyptian stuff, and you know, so I do like some of the pictures on these, but even though there's things that I like about them, there's things that I don't really feel super connected about them. And with these, like, with the oracle cards, you know, they'll normally have like a heading on them, and then you can go into your book and they'll have them in alphabet. This one has them in alphabetical order. And so I'll just go to where S is for star ancestors, page 102, and I will just read you what this says for an example. Okay, so it's got the picture of the card, and then usually it has a picture of the card on one page, a little bit of description here, and then the description goes down here, and then it has a little section down here. So I will just give you an example. So this says, the ancients knew much more than we do about our connection with the stars. Their pyramids, temples, and other places of worship created in precise alignment with the stars exist in all corners of the world. What if this ancient wisdom is available for you to uncover now? You're being called to think and listen with your ancient heart and soul. Tap into the part of you that remembers and knows. All ancient secrets are whispered forever in your ears. All mystic knowing blooms in your heart. All potent power pumps through your veins. You're being invited to step into your ancient knowingness. Yeah, so usually when it goes onto the second page, it seems like it kind of it seems like it starts out with kind of like a background, and then on the second page it tends to go into like, this is what this means when you pull this card. So here is where it starts. You're being invited to step into your ancient knowingness, to be held by the rememberings of the star ancestors, to look a little deeper. If you're feeling stuck, you're being called to do something different, to change your point of view. Creativity happens when we put together two things that don't belong, when we do the unexpected. So often, a creative solution is right in front of us, but because we think the same thoughts and act the same way, we miss what's in the open. You're here to remember and uncover ancient secrets and transmissions, technology and wisdom that are so needed on the planet right now, to unlock your soul's memories of a time when we lived in harmony on Earth and one day will again. And then this says Starseed Activation. And then it says, place the card on the portal of your heart and whisper the following: I am ready to remember ancient mysteries and secrets from deep within. So I guess you're supposed to put the card here and do that saying. But yeah, like, I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm not going to give up on these cards because I feel like at some point in my life, these cards will feel a little bit more relevant to me. But I will say for right now, I'll just get it and read it and be like, no, the card's pretty. I don't know that I really connect with what it's saying. So that's just kind of been my thoughts on this. And I haven't done this. Maybe I should read in the book, but some people commented on the package that this came in. So somehow it's packaged like this in kind of this weird way for you to do different spreads on the box. Okay. So yeah, it says the box is intended for interactive use during card readings. Simply place the lid upside down and rest your selected cards within its V-shaped cradle. And then it gives some examples of how to do some different spreads in the cradle. So it looks like if you've got one card. So I actually haven't been doing this. Maybe I would get more enjoyment out of it if I was doing all this stuff. So it looks like you put one card there. And so this is the next step you're being called to take. So that's what just drawing one card is. If you do a 2-card spread, and I've talked in another video, I'm not like, I haven't gotten into all the spreads and stuff yet. Basically, what I've been doing is just like pulling one card and just reading over the card and the description and just seeing how it feels. Like, I'm like, does this seem relevant? Maybe not. But in any case, I like doing it because it does make me stop to think, you know, what are my thoughts today? What am I feeling? What am I feeling about this particular thing that comes up? You know, so I like that it makes me do a little bit of introspection. But yeah, so it looks like you can do different spreads. Let's just try. So there's the 2-card spread. And then I remember the comments talking about this. I think they said that the 3, like, that it was just not really useful to have this because it didn't really work very well. So we've got a 3-card spread. You're supposed to put the 3rd one here. I don't know, it works. And then there's a 5-card spread, but it looks like you just like put one card in there on top like this, and then you just have the other 4 cards like around it. So I think that was what, I think the opinion on this in the Amazon reviews was like, the shape of the box thing wasn't a selling point for them. They didn't really like use this. So, but maybe it could be fun. I don't know. I mean, I'm just leaving the box sitting there anyway, so. I don't know. All of these cards are like, maybe it is trying to tell me something that I need to like connect to my alien ancestors, because that one's like some aliens. This one is like, looks like kind of like a Stonehenge. All paths lead home. So I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe my star ancestors are trying to connect with me. Star bathing. So yeah, I don't know. Like I think these might be too advanced for me, like to know how to use them right. But that's what the Starseed Oracles are, and that's kind of generally how most oracles are. Now, I want to talk about these oracle cards. I'm starting to lose the sun here, but yeah, this is going to be a long video. So these were the 3 that I got. I got the Fountain Tarot, the Starseed, and I got these Yogic Paths. I don't really remember what prompted me to get these. But out of all the cards I was looking at, this was one of them that I pulled the trigger on. And I will say, this is a big, like compared to the other boxes, this is a big box. And I don't think I expected this one to be this big. So it is a pretty good sized box. Beautiful. Like just, I feel like this is probably my most beautiful, in a different way. I've got another deck that I really like the illustrations, but I just think it's really pretty. It's got like the gold on it, and it just, I don't know, I think it's beautiful. And then it says in gold, oh, not that side, on this side. And then this is a sleeve, so you take it out of the sleeve, and then you've got this white box with the gold on it, a yogic path, and then on the back. And then so this is very similar in opening, it's just way bigger. For the Fountain Tarot, there's like a little magnetic here, and you flip it open. And this was the saying that I don't know why. Whenever I read it, I'm like, oh, okay, I hope these cards. It says, may these cards bridge you to your highest self. And so, I don't know. Whenever I read that, I'm like, it makes me hopeful. I'm like, yes, okay, these cards are going to connect me. But I will say there's, like, I really like these cards, but there's something that, like, doesn't always follow through with them. Like, I don't feel like what they're giving me is like what I'm wanting to hear or whatever. But I mean, this has like the nicest guidebook. I don't remember how much, this was probably way more expensive than the other ones. I don't know, but it definitely has more features or like quality than some of the other ones. So I mean, this is like a high quality like book. I mean, it's soft cover, but I mean, it's like an actual like book, and then it's in color. It has the card on one side, and it has the forward and the reverse on the other side. And I feel like I would be more connected to this. Like, I've done a little bit of yoga, but just very, like, I really don't know that much about yoga. And I think if you were someone who's into yoga, you would absolutely love this set, because me not being very into yoga, I still really like the set. And again, this is another one like the Starseed. I'm going to hold on to it and keep trying it, because I feel like at some point, as I kind of like move on with my life and get into things, I think I will get back into yoga, and I think that this will connect with me a lot more. And I say that because the cards have kind of like, it's called a yogic path, so it's got kind of like a yoga theme to it. And so this one is a little bit different. So it does have the cards listed in alphabetical order, so when you pull a card you can look it up in alphabetical order, but it also has it split up by like different kind of yogic sort of categories. So I think if I use the cards enough, I would know like which category each of the cards falls in, and I would be able to kind of look at what section it is. But it's got some cards related to spirituality. I'm gonna say this wrong. Ayurveda, and that's something that I've like come across. I've watched a couple of videos on, but I feel like at some point I want to learn a little bit more about that. It's got chakra cards, and then it's got yoga cards, and then it's got like deities, and I'm not sure if these are like Hindu deities. But yeah, so it's got kind of some different themes with the cards. And just let me show you this box. Like, again, it's strange because I'm not normally into colorful things, but I love the box. I love how it looks. I love everything about it. Yeah. Oh, I forgot something. We've also got a ribbon here. So this box, out of all the boxes I've had, has definitely got the ribbon work going the best. So it's got a really long ribbon in the box. And so you can pull the ribbon to get the guidebook up. So there you go. And then you can also, and then the little box is inside this big box, and then you pull the ribbon to get the box out. And then, yeah, so you've got the box here. So I love the packaging of it and everything so far. And then you've got this box, which also has a ribbon inside. And look at how pretty the cards are. Like, I don't know. This is not like me, my personality, but I really, really like how these look. And I've noticed with some cards, I have a disconnect with the back of the card and the front of the card. Like, there's some cards that I really like how the back of it looks and it really appeals to me, and then the front of the card is just kind of like and then, you know, vice versa. But I love like how the back of these cards look. Like, I don't know, but yeah, so here's how the back looks. And then the cards, I like the illustrations, again, kind of like the other one. I really like the illustrations. There's a lot going on. Whoa, I've never seen that one before. That one's kind of ugly actually, but maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe that's a special deity. But yeah, it's kind of a mix. Like the deities, yeah, like that one. I got that one the other day, was one that I pulled. And then it'll have the name of like what deity or what chakra or whatever it is at the bottom. And then you just go look it up in the guidebook. I'm pulling a lot of these deities. Let me find something. I know I've pulled a lot of very beautiful cards from this. Okay, so there's like a Kundalini card. This is another deity, but it's a little bit more, I think it's a deity, a little bit more colorful. Yeah, I haven't used these enough to like get a good feel for them, but oh, this one's pretty. But yeah, like I feel like these are cards that I will like. I'm not there yet. So yeah, let me just, I don't know, let's pull a card. I'll just go with this one. So this is Asana. So I'm guessing that's one of the yoga things, because I feel like they say that in my yoga classes. And I don't know, I can't remember if I pulled it right side up or upside down, but we'll just go right side up for it. Yeah, it's one of the yoga cards. And then so here's how it looks. It's got a full picture of the card, and then I'll go with upright. So Asana says the 8 stages of yoga, physical practice to sit in stillness. So upright, it says your physical body holds the key to your evolvement, but it's just the first portal. The asana, yoga body postures you have been practicing, have been preparing you for true asana, to sit in stillness with the truth. These shapes and movements have removed the cobwebs of your limiting self, creating space for silence of your mind's forest. You're one of those who realizes the true intention of asana and the one paving the way for others to see this bodily practice is really just a way to come face to face with yourself, continue to cultivate your practice, and move deeper into its core purpose, flow of energy in the body for the evolution of spirit. So you see why I'm not connected to this. If I was someone who was doing yoga, if I was into yoga, I would love this, because I remember when I was into yoga, like reading about yoga stuff was like, felt more enlightening to me. So there's that. There's an example of this deck, why I absolutely love it, and then why it's also not connecting with me, but I do plan to come back to it. I still pull one every once in a while, like I'll get in the mood and just be like, let me try it. But yeah, so there's that one. Okay, so starting with those 3, I kind of got an idea of oracle cards and the tarot cards and things like that. And I got recently more into like lunar type stuff. So like I've been getting the Lunarly box, and I've been trying to feel more connected with like when the full moon and the new moon has been coming in. And these were ones that I kept looking at whenever I was on looking at those sets, and I almost got this deck and then I didn't. And then one day me and my roommate were out on vacation, we were in like this little hippie shop, and they had these cards, and so finally I was like, I'm gonna get these cards. And I think it was a full moon that night too, so I was kind of like, oh, it's a full moon, you know, let's get these cards. And so he got me these cards, and I think the thing that kept me from getting them was I think the reviews were not the best, and I kind of have the same feeling about these cards as the reviews, but I'm not disappointed that I got them. But I just, again, I feel like there's something, I can't explain it, but I feel like there's something missing from them, and I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, here's what the box looks like. This is one of those that the top comes off. Again, it's got a guidebook inside, and then it has like a black and white picture of the card, and description. And these aren't really ones, these are oracle decks, so these aren't really ones that are like, for some reason they don't have upright or not in this deck. Some of the oracle decks do, some of them don't. And so the cards all have to do with like moon phases. And this is another one that I think if I get more into astrology and understand, because like I'm listening to some astrology people, but they're talking about like this is in your 4th house, or this is in conjunction with this. I'm not to the point that I understand any of that. So like I think right now they're saying that the full moon is in Aries, and I don't understand what that means. And so I feel like, kind of like the yoga thing, if I'm in a time in my life that I'm like into astrology and I understand it better, that these would speak to me. So maybe if you're more into astrology, these might be for you. And so, but I do like the pattern on this. I do like, for some reason I like moon phases. Like I like decorations and stuff like that. But so, oh, I haven't been showing the shuffling. Like, these are what I'm talking about. Like, these decks are generally smaller. Like, they don't normally, like, the tarot decks will have the 78 cards. These don't have as many, so they're a little bit easier to shuffle in that respect. And these are actually not too bad to shuffle. But let's just take the top one. So, yeah, like, I don't know. I'm not as connected with, like, number one, understanding what this means. And what is this? Yeah, full moon in Libra. I don't really know what a Libra is. I know the basic characteristics of my sign and my sister's sign. But I don't know what it means to have a full moon in Libra. And it says a win-win outcome is forecast. So there's that. And I don't really like... I think there's just, I don't know, like, I don't like the font. I want to like these cards, and like I said, I think I will, but I don't really like how some of the, what do you call them, the zodiac photos look, how they're depicted on the moons, or I don't know, I can't really describe. Let me just show you a couple more for examples. Like, yeah, I don't love how they look and what the saying looks like, but I've been watching some people online and they use these differently than the tarot cards, and I haven't really figured out how to use the oracle cards, so maybe this isn't that bad. But so yeah, so this is a Gibbous Moon, a little bit better looking one. It says you're very close to reaching your goal. Let's look up what this means in the little booklet. Or should I look up, actually no, let me look up this full moon in Libra. And then I think this one is alphabetical. Oh yeah, this one's got it broken up by the different types of moon cards. So this is a full moon card. So it's got all of full moons in the different, like, zodiac. And then it's also got new moon cards, all the new moons in the different zodiac. And then it's got some moon phase cards and some special moon cards. Yeah, so it's got them kind of broken up into what kind of moon it is. And so this is a full moon in Libra. So I'm looking at the full moon cards in Libra. And so, this one said again, a win-win outcome is forecast. The full moon in Libra, the sign of partnership, of falling in love, and of closely relating to someone else. Since full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, this card suggests you're either about to start a new relationship or that an important existing relationship is changing somehow. Actually, that one's pretty relevant for me right now. Perhaps coming to an end or moving to a new level of commitment. It's important to remember that people come to us for a reason, and sometimes just for a reason. If a relationship is ending now, it's doing so at the right time, so try not to fight it. This card can also refer to a professional relationship. There is a sense that you need to balance your ego with someone else's needs. A win-win outcome is possible with give and take. Doing so might be the answer to your question. Okay, so I was talking crap about these cards, but that one is actually pretty relevant. But I feel like these are hit or miss. I feel like sometimes they're pretty relevant and sometimes they're not. So it says, so it has like kind of that beginning part, and then it has, I don't know what it says. It says attuned to the moon, and then it's got some alternate additional meanings for the card, and then it has like a little teaching. So I'll read those real quick. So this attuned to the moon, it says, let go of that which is falling away. And then additional meanings, see the other person through the eyes of love. It will change your perspective. It's time for you to make a firm decision. Time for you to focus on yourself for a while. Look after yourself, but avoid vanity. Now is a time for a makeover. And then it says the teaching, no matter when you pull the full moon in Libra, it encourages you to find a balance between your desires and those of the people around you. Balance is a very Libran energy, and the full moon brings things to a peak. Dramas and upsets bring partnerships to the fore. Libra energy also brings love energy. Negotiations are easier. Okay, so when people are talking about like a full moon is in Aries or a full moon is in Libra, I guess if you were an astrologer, is that what you call it? Astrologer, then you would be like, oh, now is the time to like talk things out. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But okay. I don't like how these cards look for whatever reason, but they hit better in terms of the meanings for me than I've been getting with those with the Starseed or with the yoga cards. So, and I also like, it's fun to pull them with the different moon phases. So like if there's a full moon or a new moon, I generally will pull this deck out because it's just, obviously it relates to the moon. So I have got to speed this up because I don't know if you can tell, the sun is going down. Oh, and then this says, let the moon be your guide. I also think that's kind of cute. No ribbon in this one, FYI, but it's not a big deal because you can just dump the cards out and put them back in. So there is the moon one. Now let's get to these newer decks. I don't think I'm going to go into a lot of detail about this deck. I actually didn't buy this deck. It's called Botanica, and I got this in my Lunarly box, actually. This was one of the things in my Lunarly box. So I was like, okay, cool. But these are definitely like an advanced deck because they don't have, they're a little bit, so the fountain one is very close to like your standard weight deck in terms of the cards and how they're presented and everything. These are a little bit hard to decipher. So this has to do with plants, and they have like, they've chosen like a plant that relates to the feeling. So with the fountain cards, like you've got like a person on there, or you've got a picture of something that it's pretty easy to look at that and get like the feel for what the card means. It's somewhat easier. But with this, it's just got like plants, and then you're kind of supposed to know like what type of plant this is, and the type of plant correlates to what the meaning of the card is based on the weight deck or whatever. And then also it's kind of hard to see even what it is. So I think that is probably a King of Swords. It's just got like a little, maybe that's like a, oh my gosh, I've forgotten how to read Roman numerals. Is that a 7? And I think that's Pentacles. So for me, I just did not like these immediately. And I was just like, all right, these are too much for me. Like I got them with my box, but I'm just going to set them aside. And then the guidebook that comes in it is just like a paper, like not as much quality as some of the other guidebooks. But I actually pulled this out a couple weeks ago, just to give it a try now that I know a little bit more about tarot. Some of the stuff made a little bit more sense to me. And like some of the other books, it's got the upright and the reverse. And then it's got like a little paragraph for each of them kind of explaining like what the plant means and why it relates to the meaning of the card. So let's just read this for an example. So this is the page. Oh, and then it has the name of the plant. So it looks like this is the page of Swords, and the plant that it has is the mandrake. It says a plant which may have been used by Sense in her transformation magic. It's mentioned in the Bible as an ingredient for love philtres and frequently grown in sensual humanoid shaped roots. Frequently grows in sensual humanoid shaped roots. The symbol is a Greek diadem depicting Dionysus and his wife, however you pronounce it. That was a tough one. But yeah, it kind of like tries to, they've chosen a plant that they feel reflects the meaning of the card, and then they explain like why the plant reflects the meaning in this text. So I don't know if you're someone that's into gardening, or I don't know if this like, I've been coming across, because I've been Googling a lot of tarot stuff, I've been coming across a lot of witchcraft stuff too. So I don't know if any of these plants relate to any like witchcraft stuff that may relate. So I don't know. That's all I'm going to say about this deck, because, oh, also it's very, very difficult to shuffle. Like the card stock is very firm. So if you like that, then, you know, this will be good. But for me, it's very hard to shuffle. But I do love this. Like, I like the black with the gold. I like how the back of them look. And then I flip it over and I'm like, eh. I mean, as a good artist, this isn't my type of art, and it's not what appeals to me because I don't know what any of these plants are. But Botanica could be good for somebody into plants for sure. So now let's get into, I've got 2 more here. And these are the ones that I just opened today, and so I haven't had the chance to use them. And I did reviews on each of them. I unboxed them and everything and gave my opinions. But so far, like after doing a little bit of tarot for a while, I, you know, purposely bought these because for certain reasons. And so this is that standard weight set that has like the illustrations that are on, like, I guess it's like the oldest set or the most popular set. But I found it in a way that's like kind of rainbow hologram. And so the reason I didn't, like, a lot of people suggested start out with the weight set, was what I was reading. And I was just like, I don't want to. Those are kind of ugly. Like, I didn't feel drawn to them because I did not like how they looked. And I will show you. So the one thing I don't like about this set is that it comes in a box that, you know, you open like at the top, and I feel like I'm gonna just tear this up, and I don't want to tear it up because I like these cards, but you know, it's gonna happen. So you open it at the top like that, comes out, it's got like a nice guidebook in color. So there's that, and then, so I don't know, the sun is going away, but so it's got this kind of like, you know, pattern on the back, and then you've got like the hologram on the thing, but then it's still got like the standard illustrations on here. So, you know, like I said, I didn't, like, when I first were seeing pictures of these, I was like, those are so ugly. Like, I don't like those at all. But I've been watching some people read tarot on YouTube, and they're using some of these cards, and now I'm becoming more familiar because everybody like uses these pretty much, or some derivation of it, which the fountain is as well. But like, I've gotten used to how they look, and I actually like how they look, and I know, you know, it's kind of nice because that if these all look the same, you see one and you know like immediately what something is. And so I'm gonna start using these. I do wish actually that I would have started with these. So I would recommend, if you're someone like me, either get the standard weight deck, or this deck is by Magic Seer, and it's a hologram deck. So if you're like me and you're kind of like, oh, they're ugly, well, this kind of has a nice pattern, and then also the hologram kind of makes them look a little bit nicer. So there's that. And like I said, I haven't really used them. I don't know how connected I am going to be to them, but there's that. I've got a longer review on it. And then, yeah, it's just the same with the book. It's got it listed. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to find them. And then it's got, same thing, it's got the upright and the reverse, and then it's got like a longer passage that talks about them. And I'm gonna have to go turn a light on, so let me do that real quick. Okay, so yeah, that was the Magic Seer holographic tarot. And yeah, I really would prefer if these came in a box like this fountain cards, because it is kind of hard to open and close this, but it's whatever. I still really like the set, and I would definitely recommend, if you're just starting, to start with this set, because it's going to make everything else that you see like online and everything make a lot more sense to you if you're familiar with these illustrations. Okay, and so I've got 2 more things. So this was the second deck that I got and opened today, and I haven't used it, but when I was making my video earlier, I was, I came across these because I was watching people do tarot readings on YouTube, and I kept seeing, like, I would see a card, and then I'd be like, oh, where's that from? What deck is that from? And I was liking, like, the cards that they would pull, and they were all coming from this deck. And this was one of them I remember. And I think that the way that they're drawn, like I said, I didn't feel as much of a connection with the plant one because you can't really get a feel for what the card means based on what is on it. But this one, like you know, you can get a really good feel of like this girl's going through something and she's thinking, and I mean, I don't know what it really means, but I felt like what the person was saying and how the card looked, like the emotion that the card was representing, like really made me drawn to it. And I just, you know, earlier I just kind of went through some of the cards and just like looked at them, and I really like this deck. I'm really looking forward to using them. So I would say so far, not using them yet, this is my favorite, just based on like kind of how they look. And like I said, I haven't been using them, but I have experience from them, from seeing other people use them and liking them. And I was like doing a video earlier, and I just did, like, I was showing how they shuffle. I like how the back looks as well. And this one hopped out, and it was just crazy because I was like, okay, since that one popped out, let me see what this is. I am 100% hermiting right now. 100%. So this is like very relevant. So I don't know. I've kind of mentioned this in a couple other videos. Like, I would like to be spiritual. I would like to believe in all of that stuff, but I'm a very analytical person. And so for something to be true, I have to have like pretty good proof of it. So I am enjoying tarot for the sense that like it's just kind of fun. It's like a hobby, and I do think it helps me to kind of like introspect and like think about, you know, even if I don't believe that, you know, there's like spirits or whatever that are guiding like what cards come out, it's still been helpful for me to kind of like read about what the card is about and just think about how I'm feeling and whether I relate to it or not. But I don't know, like, I know that like it's kind of one of those things, like, you know, people say astrology, you know, they make it broad enough that like enough people feel connected to it. And so, you know, and if you pick something so many times, you're going to remember like the times that related to you, and then you're going to forget all the times that it was wrong. But I do feel like there's like just certain times that it's just like so perfect. Like, it seems like it's more than just a coincidence. But like I said, I haven't felt like what I would expect like to feel from it, or like some of them they're just like they're not like I don't feel like they relate to me at all. And I'm just kind of like, you know, whatever, okay. But then again, I also have kind of a feeling like I don't want to like throw it away, because like even though I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever, I also have this like feeling in the back of my mind. I'm like, but maybe I'm just not doing this right. Maybe I didn't pull the right card. Maybe I don't know how to read it properly. Maybe I'm supposed to pull some more cards to get clarification on it, you know. But I don't know. In any case, this has been fun, and clearly I've gotten into it because I've got all these decks now. But yeah, I mean, you get decks that you like, you know, your kind of like favorite ones, and it's just kind of nice. You know, I've been doing it in the morning, just adding it in as part of my routine, just because I like it. I don't know, it doesn't take that long, and it's just kind of nice to throw into your routine, I think. But this is something that I haven't done, but I love this. I think I got this whenever I got those first decks, but this is beautiful. Like, I really, again, it's weird because I don't like colors, but there's certain things that are colored that just like really stand out to me. And this is just like, these have always been, like, since I was little, my favorite mix of colors, kind of like the blue and the kind of indigo and the purple and pink together. Like, I've always loved that mix of colors. And so automatically I like that. It's hardback. And anyway, well, this is called the Tarot Journal, and a guide for journaling insightful readings. And it's supposed to be, I don't know if it's necessarily for beginners, but I think it was marketed as something for beginners. And so basically I haven't been using it, which I talk about like, oh, I don't know that much about tarot, I'm new to it, but if I would probably like read all this stuff and get into it, I would know more. But yeah, so it gives kind of like an introduction, a history, the cards, the process, getting started. So yeah, maybe I should read this tonight. And I think what I did, like, I think I'd read the first few pages, like the welcome, here's the history, here. Yeah. I definitely read all that. And then it started getting into like the spreads, and the spreads got like a little crazy. And then I was like, okay, this is just like too much for me. Like, this is beyond beginner. And so I just kind of like ignored that. And then it goes through like what every card means or whatever. But then it has a journal. And I think I read this. I read the tarot journaling part. It talks about journaling and why it's good. And so here's what the bulk of this journal is. And it says, so it has like, you put the date. And I guess you circle the moon phase. And then it has a question, which I think is like what question you're like searching for the answer for. Let me just read this. It says you can put the tarot's wisdom and energy to work in many ways. The tarot can be your part-time coach, therapist, or muse. This journal is designed as a space in which you can record your readings or simply make notes about your tarot journey. Note the moon phases when you do your reading and see if certain phases have more of an impact than others. Add quotations, poems, and images you discover along the way. Incorporate drawings and photographs. Write about themes that emerge from the time spent with tarot. To strengthen a daily journaling habit, select one card every day and write about it. So that was what I started with, just doing one card a day. It says, will you interpret the card in relationship to a personal characteristic you're striving to develop, or will you use it in another way? Each card is a fabulous cue for introspective journaling. Yes, that's definitely what I found from it. I haven't been journaling with the cards though. Maybe I should do this. It says, of course, you can use the journal to make notes about readings you do for others. What kinds of helpful energy do you bring to your querents questions? If you want to create works of fiction but suffer from writer's block, use the Celtic cross for an instant jumpstart. Tarot contains inspiration for every character, motivation, plot, and poetic image in the universe. The cards have inspired sculpture, paintings, costumes, and music. Use the cards to manifest strengths and talents you don't even know you have. I don't know what this question part means, though. Did it say it somewhere else? Welcome. Oh, does it say it in here? Gosh, it goes through everything. And I think I was so new whenever I got this book. It was just really overwhelming to me, like all this stuff. It says a crash course in numerology, the minor arcana, major arcana, getting started. Okay, wait. Oh, and then it talks about the cards and oracle cards. Okay, I really should have read this before I started this video, but I'm not gonna start over again. So here we go. One card. Anyway, like I could probably spend a whole nother video going into everything I'm going to learn from this, which I think I'm going to read this tonight. But yeah, I don't know what the question part means, but I'm assuming that probably means like, I know a lot of people say like, have a question in your mind that you want to ask the universe or ask the spirit guides or whatever. And so maybe that's what that is. Like, what were you thinking going in to the tarot? And that's one thing I have trouble with, that I feel like I'm not connected to it, because I don't really have good questions to ask. And then I feel like if I ask a specific question, the cards that I get don't really relate to like what I'm asking, I guess. And so, and especially since I'm only pulling one card. So basically what I do is like, I'm just like, what do you have for me? You know, like just what do you need me to know? So pop out a card. But yeah, and so you write your question, your type of spread, what cards came out of that, what's your interpretation, and what are your reflections on it. And then it's got like section down here. It says draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your spread, but I don't really know what that means. It says, draw your s So the reason I haven't used this book doing my daily readings is because I am weird. Maybe not weird, but like I will get journals and I'll get things that I like this, and then I get nervous to start filling them out because they're so nice that I don't want to like mess them up. And so I felt like I'm like, well, I need to learn a little bit more before I start writing it all in this journal and messing it up. And I'm also really bad about like, you know what, this is gonna be my time because I write only in pencil pretty much. Like most of my things that don't need to be colorful, I guess I could use colored pencils, but I'm so afraid to like mess up and that I have to erase something. So almost everything I do is written in pencil, and even things like this, even journals and planners and things like that, I do it in pencil. And maybe I should do this in pen. Just cut through it and just be like, look, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to write it in pen, and then it's there. So I don't know, but I am planning to start this. And you know, if I fill up this tarot journal, then I can always buy another one, I guess. And hopefully it'll help me understand everything a little bit more. But I would say, like, is this good for a beginner? Yeah, I mean, I guess if I would have actually read it and not gotten overwhelmed, I think this would be great for a beginner. If you're the type that can read something and take something in and understand it without having to be hands-on with it, I think this would be great. Get this, read it, get a feel for what the cards mean and everything, and then start doing your daily pull and journaling. But for me, I'm the type of person that needs to get a little bit more hands-on before I understand what something is and how it works. And so just reading something is not enough for me. And so spending the last couple of months like watching videos and working with it myself a little bit, now I can come back to this and understand it a little bit better. Like I think I understood almost everything that those headings had. So I am going to come back to this, and I think it will make a lot more sense. But that's what I want to finish with. That's all my decks, and that's all of pretty much more than you ever wanted to know about my tarot experience. But hopefully if you're new to tarot, or if you're considering getting any of those decks, that will give you some advice on your choice to pick the decks. And yeah, I guess that's all I have for right now, the end of my big tarot day. So maybe in the future I might go through some of these decks again and do like specific reviews of them, going a little bit more in depth. But that's just kind of a big overview of my experience so far.